the Dim Din Podcast, a safe space to talk about misconceptions, perceptions, assumptions, and frustrations. Join us for conversations and stories that explore how embracing our differences leads to a balanced, strong, and harmonious world.
Hello and welcome to the Dim Din Podcast, your very safe space to have conversations about misconceptions, assumptions, expectations, and frustrations amongst us Africans in the diaspora and our relatives and friends back home. We're here again with another interesting conversation, misconception if you may, or is it really? Today we're focused on the topic gender equality. Whew, this one is close to my heart, I tell you, because I'm a woman and you'll understand, you know why this is close to my heart. But I'm not taking sides. I'm going to leave that open for our guest of the day to really dissect this topic and choose sides if they want to. To have this conversation with me today, I have our guest from Sierra Leone, Teresa, and we're going all the way to Liberia. Prince, thank you both for coming on board.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourselves a little bit more for our guest, please?
All right, as she said, my name is Teresa and I'm from Sierra Leone. I have lived in Canada for 20 years now. I immigrated to Canada with my family, my mom, nephew, cousin. So there's quite a bit of us and my aunt here. I have two lovely daughters and I'm a social worker. I enjoy what I do. I work with the older adults, seniors, whatever you may feel comfortable calling them. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Teresa.
My name is Prince Flowers. I moved to Canada 15 years ago.
Nice.
2009, and initially I went to the U.S. and crossed the borders and heard about this country, the beautiful landscape, free healthcare, and good wage but terrible weather. I was, when I was in the U.S. and I said I was going to Canada, there was a Canadian and said, which part of Canada are you going? I said, I'm going to Alberta. Alberta, extreme cool weather.
It is.
So that was my first experience to know that it's extremely cold until I crossed the border and somebody told me about Alberta. So I moved here. And moved here, saw the place, start getting adjusted. Now we don't have a family here, don't have cousin, brother, sister, nothing. Met this beautiful girl and 15 years later, I'm still stuck here. Got two beautiful daughters as well. And I'm also the president of the Federation of Liberians Association in Canada, which is a federal organization that governs all local communities in and around Canada. So I for 2 years now, I've been heading the federal group of all Liberians in Canada.
Wonderful.
And it's been extremely great. And I love being a part of the community. I love getting involved in community events, and I like to contribute to beautiful things you started. Thank you so much for having me on.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you both. You are in for another treat today. Okay, to all those who have been making time to join the live and subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing, thank you so much. If you're still deciding whether or not it's a good idea to subscribe, I have decided on your behalf. Go and subscribe now. Thank you very much. Our highlight of the day for today's topic is women are for the kitchen or are made for the home, should focus in the home and raising the children, and men are the providers and the protectors. I'll say that again. Women should focus on the home and raising children, and men are the providers and the protectors. Misconception or reality? Over to you, Teresa.
Misconception or reality? I would say, unfortunately, in this present day, that is a reality.
Okay.
I would like to think that it should be a misconception. I mean, we're in the 21st century, that shouldn't be the norm, as women are in the workforce now, and they're taking care of the home, taking care of the kids, and our providers as well, in a lot of capacity, while the men are. So that is a reality in our today's world. Back in the 1800s, women were home and taking care of the kids and not working. So that was a reality then, and that should be the reality. But now it shouldn't be. But in some ways, people still uphold that value, as women should be in the kitchen or take care of the kids, when we know in this economy, you can't really survive on a single income, right? Both mom and dad have to work to be able to provide a comfortable life. Yeah, so it is a reality, but shouldn't be.
So what I hear you say then, it's almost like a double-edged sword now.
Yes.
It's the expectation that we take care of the home and the children. However, we cannot survive with just one income.
No.
So you're expected to be a provider.
To be a provider,
in the same light.
In the same light.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll throw that over to the provider and the protector. What do you have to say to this?
It's a very good topic. Thank you so much. And I really liked how she came about, the whole thing. And I would see the misconception, and I would see the reality from very different perspectives. And my perspective is when it comes to women stay in the kitchen, cook and feed and clean the house and all like that, it's a reality in Africa. When it comes to continent basic, when it comes to the western part where we live, I would consider that a misconception.
Okay.
In the West. Because in the West, we expect to share bills with the ladies. In the West, this is what I realized that I'm supposed to change my daughter's diaper. I'm supposed to roll her in the wheelchair.
You're like, what?
I'm supposed to shake the baby bottle and feed her.
I'm a guy.
I will leave the mom sleeping and take the kids to school. So, is it a reality in the West? Probably not. Can it be a reality in Africa?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it can be a reality in Africa that we expect the mom to cook, put the food on the table. And sometimes I laugh at my wife and say, why I don't come from work and see my food, meet my food on the table warm and heat it up hot, and I can sit down and bring the water and all like that and give him a massage while I'm eating. This is
life of a king, hey?
The life of a king. This is how we see our grandfathers grew, or mom or grandmom were treating grandbab, and our fathers and all of that. So basically, it's like when it comes to the reality in Africa, we hustle, we look for the money, we bring the money home, you take care of the kids, and then because of that, our culture made it to look like daddy controlled everything. And sometimes when something happens in the house, you hear mom say, wait for your dad. Wait for your dad to come, and he will take the decision.
He's a disciplinary and all that.
So, so the acts of training and respect and all those things, and it's all pushed up to the dad. When dad's coming home, everyone try to do their duties and make sure everything is tight. And so it's a different word. It's a different the mindset when it comes to misconception and reality of women being in the kitchen and doing all the housework.
Beautiful.
Just to piggyback on what he said there, the reality is women do work and all that stuff, and men take on some of the household roles. But also I find that some men in the diaspora here still expect their women, like you said, to, when they come home, food should be ready, their feet should be massaged, kids should be taken care of. And you find that, that brings a strain on the marriage or on the relationship, because if that woman has gone out and worked all day, same 8 hours or 12 hours, and you expect her to come home and cook, they're tired, right? And so, yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's, first of all, thank you both. So this is why I had to have a male and female for this conversation, because there's no way I was gonna have it with just one gender. We need to hear both perspectives.
Right.
But I hear you say then that it's more of a reality in Africa, at least some parts of Africa, than it is in the diaspora. But I also hear you, Teresa, because I feel like personally, I have had that experience a while back, not now, a while back, with a relationship that felt the need to sit at home and wait, just be on TV or phone all day while I work 2-3 jobs and then still come home and have to cook and clear. And it's like, yo, I would rather be single than, than have to slave like this, right? So as much as there was that expectation that you be the woman, there was also the expectation that you continue doing what you're doing to provide, if that is what you choose to do, even though you are not providing, but you are also not switching sort of like roles. Going back to like expand a little bit on the aspect of it's more present in the diaspora than in Africa, do we see the misconception in Africa too, though? Because this is 2024, and I feel like we learn a lot from the Western world, believe it or not, and we copy a lot, but we don't copy everything. Sometimes we copy things that work for some genders, but not so much others. Do we see the whole thing of like women still being expected to do a certain thing, but also balance out the providing area in some parts of Africa, in Sierra Leone and Liberia?
Yeah, really, I think the scope of how this topic is changing things in Africa. It's a unique thing because I blame social media. I blame the age and time that we are in, how people see things around the world and see how these things bring change to the society. There's this guy who go around in Liberia and asks, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table?
What do you bring to the table?
You know, and because of the fact that you know, women look up to men to be the provider, that question is hard for the girls to answer.
Yeah, what do you bring to the table, hey?
What do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
You know, and
Teresa's like, oh, you sure?
Oh, you can see it.
Ready for this. Okay. But yes, go ahead, please.
you know, and out of like say 10 interviews, one girl will probably have something to bring to the table. Okay. You know, and the fact that they can't answer that question straight to say, I have a job, I'm educated, I can be a provider. You know, to have answers to that question, you know, makes it feel like the cultural thing went a long way in the generation that we came from. The fact that we look up to the men to be the provider, you know. So coming into the age that, okay, you know why, I don't think it should be what it is now. I think it should divert in the fact that women too can bring something to the table.
Can we say then there is not enough opportunities for girls in Africa? And this is why, you know, there's still that narrative there. It is changing a little bit, as you can see, like in some movies where girls are in the workforce, you know, they're trying to make that change and not just being home and taking care of kids, right? But I feel, that is still more prevalent in Africa, and especially, you know, to narrow it down, Sierra Leone, where girls do go to school, they get educated, have all the degrees, but then you still hear they want to be a housewife. Not all, some still want to be a housewife and take care of the home and not work. And also there are girls that want to get to work, but that opportunity is not there. They'll rather hire the man over the girl. And a girl will probably have to do certain things to be able to get the job.
Hold on there. Hold on. Do
certain
you know
things to
why-
get the job, and that is not, that's where the
Do you
imbalance
know
is not fair.
why the girl is educated, smart, and can provide, still want to be a housewife? Because we men in Africa also feel scared of the educated girls, of the smart ones.
Okay. Okay.
And because of the inferiority complex, she feels like, okay, you know what? I don't think I can reach, I'm supposed to be like this. Let
But
me
you
still
think
be.
it's her that's feeling that way, or it's the man putting that fear into her, by bringing her down and not uplifting her? Because I feel, in our relationships and stuff, I feel if you have the right man that uplifts you, a woman can do so much.
100% agree.
Right? But if you don't have the right partner, a man who is insecure of, themselves and their woman taking the lead and stuff, I mean, of course, that will put the woman back into her shell and say, okay, let me just stay back.
And give him the opportunity.
And give him the opportunity. There is the saying that behind every
successful man
there
is a woman.
A
A well put together woman that brings a lot to the table.
Right.
And here we are, we still feel inferior in Africa. We still feel inferior.
The man?
The man, we still feel inferior. I remember I dated a girl in Africa who had like 2 degrees. And when she's coming to visit me, my guys would be like, bro, your book woman is coming.
That is the thing. It's the
type
man.
A woman, they call us.
It's the man that
Type A
put
woman.
themselves against each other. They make fun of each other, tease each other, especially we'll
And
get to that.
Okay. It's getting heated in here. Okay, if you're just joining us, this is the Din Din podcast, and this is one of my favorite episodes so far, I tell you, because I cannot stop laughing. Okay, we're going to retract a little bit to how we're raising our boys and girls, because you both are parents, and you both have girls. So
Yes.
I see parents, even in the diaspora, still raising their children in that narrative of, you are the woman, you should help mother out in the kitchen, you should be the one helping clean the house and do chores within the house, whereas the man should just focus on your education as the boy. Like, you should not be doing just anything in the house because it may sort of like emasculate you a little bit, right? Do you raise your children with that narrative, or is there a difference in the way you raise your girls and boys?
I would say, fortunately, I have 2 girls, and so that narrative, I don't have the opportunity to kind of, balance it out to say, okay, you're a boy, you're going to do certain things at home. You're a girl, you're going to do certain things at home. However, though, I do get, because I have my girls, I do have influences that tell me how to raise my girls, oh, you have a daughter, she should be able to clean, she should be able to cook, she should be able to wash the dishes and all that stuff. And even I myself as a girl, a woman, I get that, oh, you have 2 daughters, you should be able, by now you should know how to braid their hair. And I think, no, I don't need to know how to braid their hair. There are service providers. I can get them to braid their hair. I'm a working mom. I'm a single mom. I don't have the opportunity to be home, as we're saying now, being a homemaker or being in the kitchen, and I don't have the opportunity for that. Unfortunately, I have to go to work and kind of do both roles. So wherever I can get the help, I will get somebody to do it and pay for the service. So no, I don't have the opportunity to raise my girls that way. I just raise them to kind of value themselves as a girl, as an individual. Know your value when you're out there in the world, right? So I don't kind of say, oh, you're a girl, you have to know how to do this, you have to do this. Be kind, know your value, know how to treat people. Attitude counts for a lot in how you navigate this world. So always have a better attitude about your goings and comings. So that's kind of like I raise my girls, and also being financially stable.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Over to you, sir.
It's amazing raising two girls. I also had the opportunity of being a father to a 10-year-old boy for, say, maybe close to a year. And when he was living with me, I did not separate what belongs to girls do girls thing, boys thing. I didn't see that. So up to now, I made my girls to clean the snow. You know, wherein cleaning the dishes could be separated for the girls, and the snow and maybe backyard choices for the boys, right? But he was vacuuming the house, doing the dishes as well, and doing what needed to be done around the house. So I didn't see the separation in boys do this and girls do this and all like that. I strongly believe in gender equality, and they keep asking me, when are you going to bring the boy? When are you going to bring the boy? And I say, a child is a child.
Yeah.
You can get a son who can be a doctor. My daughter can be a doctor. You can get a son who can be an astronaut. My daughter can be an astronaut. So a child is a child.
A child is a child, yeah.
And by the way, I'm not going back again to having an NMO child, because I'm not guaranteed a boy.
Exactly.
Don't you want to find, how do they call them? How do they call them? Like, you need a hair.
Yeah, to the
you
name,
need a
the
son
family name.
to carry that family name.
My daughter is still going to keep my last name in where she wants to, keep it in her name.
Right?
But
That's another fight for another day.
that's for the day, right? So yeah, I see a child as a child, you know, and I think it's our cultural thing too, believing that one gender is more better than the other.
And the boy surpasses.
And that's why, I know it's going to be another topic for another time, but that's why I frown on. I was processing, I was discussing it with this with my wife the other day, like, why would I have my daughter send her to school, educate her? She'd come back to be a second or third wife to somebody.
Now that's another conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
I'm looking forward to that one.
You know, but guess what? The culture finds it okay. I don't find it okay. Well, you know, I'd rather you be something else. You know, that I can't say off camera, but I'd rather you be something else than to be a second or third wife to somebody. You're way better than that. You understand? So the culture kind of put women on some kind of standard that you can, like, it's okay to be just cleaning.
Yeah.
Just making sure the kid's okay.
Yeah.
Just going to the farm and breaking and doing, cutting woods and coming in time and making food and all like that and see to it the kid's okay. That's your place. But society nowadays is kind of evolving and changing, and society is getting better.
Wonderful.
And when you visit back Africa, you see the amazing things. I was shocked. One girl who doing business in Africa, like, she sell hair pearls and all like that. She built 2 houses.
Wonderful.
And guess what?
What?
Our guys in Africa have started becoming inferior and looking at her differently, like, you know. And that culture, one second, that culture made me not to move in with my wife at the time we were girlfriend when she wanted to buy a condo. When I moved here 15 years ago, the owner of the condo was about to move to Manitoba, and the owner of the condo said, "You've been in this condo for 5 years. Buy this condo from me." At the time, 15 years ago, you could just switch the owners, and the next take your equity out of the home. The next person continue the mortgage.
Right.
And she said, okay, you know why? What do you think? Let me buy this home. We're just getting to know one another. Let me buy this home. And then guess what? So I said, okay, so if you buy this home, what's going to happen? You're going to move in with me.
Me? Moving with a woman?
Me move. Thank you. I just told her, my mama says I shouldn't live
With a woman.
with a woman. And more especially, it's your house. Come on, nail it. Nail it. And guess what? 15 years later, I regretted that action. Because that house, that condo, was going to be almost finished paid for 15 years today. And every time I think about that, I regret. But the fact that I also thought that we were just coming together. We were just knowing one another. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And relationship takes a whole turn before it gets to what it is.
Right.
And every time we have a little misunderstanding, I would feel because of a house. That's how they taught us to think in Africa.
And that may have been the case.
Probably.
It may have been the case. Yeah.
Our grandparents said, when you live with a woman, anything happen, that's her house. So at the end of the day, I probably would move out and say, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
So it made us to leave the opportunity of buying that condo to rent an apartment.
Okay.
That we spent all our time in an apartment and did not get no equity until I bought a house. So that was a mistake. And the culture made us to make those mistakes.
Okay.
And can I piggyback off of what he's saying there? You mentioned something about a girl, is it in Liberia? That is a business owner here, a business owner, and that's the other misconception about, a woman being successful, at that magnitude and not being married. Society still don't value or respect you as a woman.
Why are you not married?
Like, why are you married? Like, the marriage has to be attached to you and all your accomplishments,
before you get fulfilled.
Well, you may feel fulfilled, but those people do not see you as a fulfilled person.
Yeah.
Like, you're missing something. Aren't you cold? You need this. You need that.
Yeah.
Why?
And I do see that. I do see that a lot, and I do experience that as well, right? Because it's like when you start going for your degrees, like I was talking about going for my PhD, and these people are people who mean well for you, by the way, right? Like they mean well, but they're looking at you and they're like,
Try to get married.
Like another PhD? What about a husband? What about the children? Like, should you not be looking at those directions for now and put a break on the education for now? But I see both of your point, and what I hear you both say then is that as much as there is that narrative, you're trying your best to raise your girls to be flexible and not to accept not to fit in one box, that social box that society has created for a woman and for a man. Now, the question that I want us to think about a little bit, to sort of like throw some balance into this conversation. I've heard a lot of people say, I don't want to be equal to a man. And I've heard this come from a lot of women, right? Like, I'm very content being a woman. Please spoil me, take care of me. I just want to stay home. I don't want to go to work if I could help it. And some people have also said like the whole gender equality is sort of like a Western concept and not necessarily like an African traditional concept. What do you both have to say?
If I'm sitting at the table, I will look at the gender equality from both sides, because I am from a whole different continent and live half of my life in a whole different continent, in a whole different culture. So, looking at the gender equality thing, I would sit from the two different sides of the table.
Okay.
See it from the African cultural thing that I live with all my life before I moved here 15 years ago, and I also see it on this side. I was strolling my daughter in the mall, and one guy from my country saw me, and like he was laughing. Look at you! You're pushing the stroller with a baby.
Holy smokes!
2 years later, 3 years later, I saw the same dude pushing his own child in the stroller.
Did you laugh back?
So when I rolled the stroller away, I was asking myself, why was he laughing? You know, and people who were born and raised here, if you see a Caucasian man do this thing, it's okay. To you, it's good. But why an African guy doing the same thing and then you laugh?
Because of the stigma.
Because of the stigma, because of the culture. Probably if I wasn't going to move to the West, I probably wouldn't have changed my daughter's diaper. I probably wouldn't have been up 3 a.m. in the morning while mom's sleeping, fixing baby's food and feeding my daughter.
And well done for doing that. Yeah.
I probably would not give my daughter a shower when mom comes from work after 12 hours and wants to sleep and want to rest. If it's Africa, she needs to get up
And still do it.
and still give the baby a bath. You know, so the gender thing, I would see it from a different point and a different perspective, because at the end of the day, people in Africa still, some of us in Africa still hold on to these cultures. And maybe that's the reason why when an educated woman would say, I just want to be a woman. And going back to the topic, when this girl with the 2 degrees come and visit me, and we're talking about politics, she into the politics. And my guys would be like, oh yeah, she's the smartest, she's the sharpest nerve in the room, like she's the smartest. They don't like that. Why should a woman
Because her place is to go get you guys food and drinks while you guys are having the conversation.
And she's somewhere in the back, making more food for us. That she's the best wife.
Yeah. She's a wife material.
It's the wife material.
Whoever invented that word, I don't like you, just to put it that way.
To answer your question,
Yes.
I am a woman and I like to be taken care of. I'll say it. I'm one of those girls that say, I mean, if I have the opportunity to not work as much as I am right now, I'll take it. I want to be taken, like we're women. Okay, so let's go back to this topic of gender equality,
And
right?
what's your thought on it? Yeah.
Yes. So I think of it this way. You and I are girls. We're not the same. We're different. You can be treated the same way you're treating me. I'm bigger, not in age, but like, you know, size, I'm bigger. So like when it comes to strength and abilities and all that, maybe you could beat me down. I don't know.
Girl,
but
have you
you know, we can say, so we cannot compare people together. So why should we, you know, biologically, men and women are different.
Are different, yeah.
But when it comes to doing the work, when it comes to, you know, capacity building, we should be equal.
There should
If
be
le-
room for everyone.
A room for everyone, yeah.
Okay.
If we're doing the same line of work as a professional or whatever we are, you know, let's say construction. You're working in construction, I'm working in construction. I expect to be respected as much as he's being respected.
Yeah.
I expect to get the same pay
Equal
as he is
opportunities.
getting, equal opportunities, exactly.
Yeah.
So I hear that it is a, you know, people in Africa say it's a Western culture or thing, but it should be a global conversation or thing.
Concept,
that
not- yeah.
if I, as a woman, I'm working, we're doing the same job, we're bringing the same ideas to the table, I should be paid the same as he is being paid, you know? So,
So
for
no
me,
discrimination
no
because
discrimination
of
in
your
that
gender.
sense, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And also, you know, when I say I'm a woman, I like to be taken care of. That doesn't mean I don't want to work. I don't want to do the work. I mean, I enjoy my job, you know. I will find something to do. And whether that being supporting the husband or, you know, taking care of the kids, as they say, you know, if the opportunity is there, if the man is making as much money and the opportunity is there for the woman to relax and take care of the home, hey, and that's what she wants to do,
There you go. Okay.
do it.
Okay.
If you feel like going to the workforce, do it. And that's another misconception about, you know, the Western world that
You're white if
men,
you choose to do all
yeah,
of that.
women want to be as much as men or compare themselves to the men. And I find that, I was having a conversation with someone one time, a Sierra Leonean gentleman, he would say, oh, sorry, I'm going to speak Creole. He said,
no apologies.
Una den salon picking the one kana ya, una wan can follow the weight man them. I'm like, we can't afford. We can't afford that luxury to act like the white girls
I got a question
or
for
white
you.
people.
I got a question for you. When did you know that a woman's supposed to split a bill with you when you go to the restaurant? Did you know that in Africa?
No,
Here, right?
here.
Good.
But let me finish my thoughts.
And then we'll start rounding
And
up.
then we'll get to that. We can't afford that luxury to act like the white women or, white folks here. Because if you look at the system, let's say as Africans or Sierra Leoneans, for the most that I know of, as soon as we give birth, the women are running back to work. That's a reality. Because, and I don't know people's homes, but there's not enough income to sustain the home. So you find that the women, 6 months, even 3 months, a year, they have to get back to work and work, put the child back in daycare. And that's another expenditure.
Whole thing to, yeah.
Whereas, and I don't know, with white people that I've worked with, when they have a child, they stay home.
Yeah. And that's there's a lot. Like
take care of the
these
child.
topics are so big that really one session is almost not enough to talk about this session.
We can come back.
But we are going to there might be a part 2. But we're going to try and round up today. Before we do round up, there was one thing you said about men asking women what you bring to the table. Whenever a man asks you that, ask them what table. Like, are we talking about the social table? Are we talking about the home table? Are we talking about the financing piece? Like, what table? Because women, anyways, let's leave that for another day.
When
But
a
to
man
round up
asks
this
that, run, because they should know what you bring to the table. If they're coming after you, they want to be with you, they should know what you bring to the table. They should know your value as a woman and your capacity.
And
So
that's where
there shouldn't even be that question.
ask that question.
Sorry.
But that's where I want us to round up this conversation with this last question. Because what I have observed is that especially some of our men that migrate to this part of the world, I feel like they tend to choose a part of the narrative that works for them and want to let go of a part of the narrative that does not benefit them necessarily. And this is some of my own experiences, right? Where I feel like a man wants you to know how to take care of the home, know how to take care of him, know how to take care of the children. But at the same time, you better have a master's degree. You better know how to bring finances at home to balance that stuff out, because you should be both that woman that is really good at home and to take care of all of those sectors, but also I need you to walk hand in hand with me to keep the home afloat. So in that narrative, I feel like there's almost some sense of hypocrisy on the side of some men when they call you white for acting a certain way, or they try to call you out as a woman for wanting to go to work and help provide. What do you both have to say? And I'll ask you to speak to the men and ask you to send a message to the women.
Okay.
Just so we balance this out.
Okay.
To summarize, what do you have to say to our men who have a mindset like that, but still talk about the whole gender equality thing being a thing of a Western concept?
I don't know if I'm the right person to send that message.
And this is both to the diaspora and to Africa. Please speak to them for me.
I don't know if I'm the right person to send that message. However, to the men, be patient with your partners, your wives, your girls. Be kind to them. Listen to them, listen to know their value and know what they bring. Know when they're doing too much or when they're, so that you balance. If you're in the home and you've both gone to work and you come home and there's dishes in the sink, she's as tired as you. If you can wash that dishes, wash them. If you can't and she can't, you guys sit there and watch TV. It's okay. Let the dishes sit there. It will get done. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. You know, you're not taking care of the kids. We're tired.
Let's rest.
And I'm sure the men too are tired. So let's rest if we can rest. And I'm sure if you're both well rested, the sex life will be better.
Yeah.
Without the stress.
That's right.
You tell them. You tell them.
You're a living witness, right? Yeah. Rest.
Okay.
Don't stress.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say this to the men out there. There are a lot of potential in women, more especially when you get the real good one. Take care of them, nourish them, treat them well. Let me give you a little 1 minute story before I leave you. When I met my wife, with girlfriend and boyfriend, I was making more money than her. I treated her on the clear balance of understanding in our relationship until we married. And I helped her to build her career that today, what I made in a year, she's making that in 90 days.
Whoa.
Does she not do my laundry and cook my food and take care of the kids? She still does that. Nothing changed about relationship. Empower your woman, treat her well, and have a better life. Thank you.
Wonderful. So that's to the men, hey?
That's
okay.
to the men.
Okay. Thank you both very much. To both genders, here is my final piece to you. These are conversations that we can have forever. But like I said, we may have a season, like an episode 2 to this conversation. Walk with your partner and try and get rid of the whole concept of gender when you're working with your partner. Because in all honesty, I'm a bigger fan of gender equity, like the whole equity concept, than I am of the equality concept. Because we all have different areas where we need support.
That's right.
And if you see the strength in your woman or see the strength in your man and work together, you balance out your strengths and balance out your weaknesses.
That's right.
Because neither one of us is perfect. So be it traditional or Western or whatever it is that is holding you back, try and clear that roadblock.
That's right.
Because 2 heads are better than 1. And if you work with that woman, whether she has a degree or does not have one, if you two work together as a team, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.
That's right.
That's all we have for you today. Until our next episode, Sabe.
Dim dim.
Sandim dim.
Dim dim.
The Dim Din Podcast, a safe space to talk about misconceptions, perceptions, assumptions, and frustrations. Join us for conversations and stories that explore how embracing our differences leads to a balanced, strong, and harmonious world.